Hey y'all, quick video to say hi, little chit chat. It's Melissa here at Twin Oaks Family Farm. Thank you for joining us on our YouTube channel, Twin Oaks Farm Poultry, where it is all about the chickens that we raise, but actually it's all about more than that because our farm is small, but it's our life. And we love to make wholesome food. Now, our farm isn't our full-time occupations here, but nonetheless, farming is an everyday thing. So want to give you a little background on that before we go on talk about a few other things. Today's video I want to talk about briefly on what it's like having a YouTube channel as part of our small farm operation, and ask you a question: what are your plans for 2025? So first, give you a little background on us, especially if you haven't joined us before. Thank you so much for joining us. Do y'all know that less than 2% of the American population is directly involved in producing food? And so we call that aspect of agriculture production agriculture, where we are part of making the beef, making the pork, making the produce, making the feedstuffs that the livestock eat that are going to be raised for pork, chicken, beef, rabbit, duck, turkey, etc., 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 etc. So less than 2% of the American population, y'all, is part of that equation, actually making the food. Now, when you go in the grocery store, I know that we think of the whole grocery store practically, other than maybe like the cleaning aisle and the personal care aisles. Like, we think of the whole grocery store containing food. Here's the reality. The grocery stores, and I go to the grocery store, I'm not anti-grocery store, but let's talk reality. The grocery stores are actually filled with a lot of ultra-processed foods and a lot of food-like products. Now, they also have some whole foods, okay? And so when I'm talking about production agriculture, like, that's what we're talking about. That's what's at the end of the process of production agriculture. A food that is minimally processed, maybe not processed at all if possible, and that you can eat as is. So also, at a grocery store, even with those whole foods, those foods still could be trucked in from far, far away. When we're talking about production agriculture, did y'all know that, like, if you get chicken from me or from some poultry producer where you live, did you know that you can actually go right to where that chicken was raised and buy the chicken? Or if you eat eggs and a little farmer that has some egg production chickens, did you know you can go right to where those eggs were laid and buy them right there? You can see where the hens live. You might even get an egg that has been laid like less than 2 hours ago. It's true. So true. And it's so cool. Like, here's the really coolest thing. And now you're only going to know this feeling if you're a farmer or a gardener or I hope it's not a bee. So anyway, you're only going to know this feeling like if you're a farmer or a gardener or a homesteader or raising your food for yourself. But the coolest feeling in the world is when you look down at your plate. You're going to have a meal. You look down at your plate and you're like, I raised all that food myself. It came from right here. Now, the next coolest feeling to that is when you look down at the plate and you're like, I know where all of that food came from. I know where it all came from. I know where it was raised. I know where it lived. I know where it was produced. That is one of the coolest feelings in the world. But less than 2% of the population is involved in making that food, that we're all consuming and 100% of us eat. And so when you can either produce it yourself or you can seek out a farmer, rancher, producer local to where you live, you can have that rewarding feeling. In addition to just having great food and being satisfied with it, you can also have that intrinsic oomph of like, I know where this food came from, and that's pretty darn cool. So as far as our farm operation here, though, we have meat chickens in flocks throughout the year, and it only takes about 6 weeks to take a meat chicken from hatch to harvest. So like this year we've had 5 flocks that totaled 1,525 birds over 2024, and we have a flock of 125 coming in a couple days. That will conclude our 2024 meat bird production. That was 1,650 birds over 6 flocks, and we have 60 egg production chickens. And then my husband's family, though, has always farmed all of his lifetime and before, and that farm is actually 2 miles or so away from where we live. In fact, as I'm sitting here, I can't turn the camera on it and get you a visual, but as I'm sitting here, I can look across the property that I'm sitting on over to the neighbor's property. This is the coolest thing, and maybe another time I can get to show you all this, but I can look across here and I can hear a tractor, and I can look across here about the width of a football field, and over there is my neighbor's property, but my neighbor allows part of his property, his family's property, to be leased to my husband's family's farm. And so my father-in-law is actually over there right now. Looks like probably working ground. So they would have already harvested a crop out of there for the fall, and then they're back in there preparing the ground for whatever's next, okay? Or I can't tell what implement is on the back, but anyway, so it's field work nonetheless. So, and it's, in this instance, it's part of crop farming. And so in that case, my husband's family's farm, between ground that's owned and ground they rent, is up to about 200 acres of ground that they work. And so those are crops that are raised for livestock. And so that's part of that less than 2% of the American population involved in production agriculture, either directly producing the food, the livestock, or the produce that is the food, or producing the feedstuffs that feed the livestock. So it's really cool. It's just really cool. Like, that's what our life is surrounded by that. So even though the bread and butter of paying the bills for our home place is, you know, off farm occupations, we are immersed in this production agriculture lifestyle and always have been. And it's such, like I said, it's just such an intrinsic, rewarding feeling to, like, look at your plate and the thing that sustains you, the things you're going to eat, and know that, like, we did this. We cooperated with God's design, and with the soil, and with the sunshine, and with the rain, and this is what we have from it. You know, we have something we can eat, and it can nourish us. So that is so cool. But that's kind of the size and scope of what we're doing right here with our small farm. And, you know, that's kind of the lowdown on, like, you know, kind of the money side of it. You know, no, it doesn't have to support our household, but our farm operation has to support itself and make us a little money. And so, you know, we're talking about something in the ballpark of, like, overhead wise, expense wise, a $25,000 to $30,000 operation for operating expenses for a small chicken farm, And so obviously, like, for us as a household, you know, we don't have $30,000 extra dollars a year, okay? Like, no, we don't. You know, we have to eat, we have to pay our utility bills, we have to, you know, keep fuel in our vehicles, we have to do most of the things that everybody else has to do, you know, to keep the household running. So that's not coming from our chicken farm. But flip side of that is, if the chicken farm doesn't pay for itself, the household ain't doing it. The household can't do it, okay? And the chickens, they got to eat, they got to have water, we got to have a little bit of electricity to run that operation, we got to have fuel money to get the chickens hauled to the processor when it's time to process them, we got to pay the processor bill, and it costs as much to process the chickens as it does to raise the chickens, if you can believe that. Well, believe it, because I'm here to tell you it's true. So, coming from a little poultry farmer. So, it, you know, like I said, that's the thing about working with our poultry farm, yes, you know, it doesn't have to be the bread and butter for the household, but it does have to pay its way, and we want it to generate a little bit of profit for us while we're at it, because we put a lot of sweat equity into it, and we put a lot of tender loving care into it. So so this year, 2024, we will have raised 1,650 Cornish rock cross meat chickens, and we are probably getting, like, we do have 60 egg production chickens. There goes the tractor again, back and forth, back and forth. So we have 60 egg production chickens, and they are, you know, let's say we get, this is going on the low side, but let's say we get 3 dozen a day, which we usually get more than that, but let's say we get 3 dozen a day averaged out over the year. So that's 21 dozen a week. So let's say we get 20 dozen a week, and there's 52 weeks in a year. So that would be what would that be? 1,000, is that 1,040? 52 times 20. 52 times the 2 is 104, and add a 0. So yeah, so we produce about 1,040 dozen eggs annually. Okay, so at this point, with that amount of hens, so that's kind of the size and scope of our little farm operation. And so about a year and a half ago, well, about 5 years ago, we started raising the meat chickens, and about a year and a half ago, we decided, let's do a YouTube channel. So this was one of the things I said I was going to talk about. What's it like having a little YouTube channel as part of our small farm operation? Well, just, you know, the tip of the iceberg for today, honestly, it's work, okay? It's like anything else. You know, you got to practice like you play so that you can play like you practice. And some of that is just consistency. So, you know, with a YouTube channel, it's like then a whole new to-do list of things to do, right? Like, you know, make the video, kind of check out the video, make sure everything's okay, you didn't make too many bad mistakes, or hopefully didn't make any mistakes in what you wanted to say. And you got to upload the video, you got to name the video, you got to have a thumbnail for the video, like, you know, maybe make a description for the video, check off all the boxes on the upload, on the things you got to do. So, you know, it's a little bit of like, if you decide to take on a YouTube channel, you're kind of creating a little bit of work for yourself. Now, you can take that amount of work like to the level you want to. You know, do you want to do 1 video a week? Do you want to do a video a day? Do you want to take 2 days off? Do you want to take 4 days off? What do you want to do? You know, but so one thing it's like to have a little YouTube channel, even a little YouTube channel, is it's a little bit of work. And another thing is it's like learning as you go, learning on the fly, especially like I don't have a marketing background, I don't have a tech background, I don't have a performance background, I don't have any kind of background that would say you're going to be great at having a YouTube channel. No, none. Okay, so you know, it's a learning curve. All right, it's also really taking you out of your comfort zone, and it's really opening yourself up for criticism. So I can tell you firsthand, you will get feedback that is negative at some point. You will get feedback at some point that is like telling you, you know, you're not doing a good enough job, and you will get feedback at some point that devalues what you do. And so let me tell you, like us with production agriculture, you know, there's people out there that don't eat meat, there's people out there that don't believe in raising livestock for food for human consumption, and they are more than happy to tell me about it in the comments on occasion. But that's okay, because you know what? There's this feature where you can delete stuff that makes you upset. So really, I mean, that's the whole thing. You know, it is worthwhile to like say, you know, part of having a YouTube channel is recognizing that, you know, some people are going to like your message. Most people are going to be polite, whether they like your message or not, but there are people that are going to insult you. There are people that are going to belittle you. And you know what? That's okay, because that's a lot like real life. And so, like, for me, it's just like, okay, that's fine. I'm just going to delete that comment if you're just here to be kind of mean to somebody, and it's okay if it's me, because you're kind of saving somebody else from being the brunt of that, right? So so that's another thing that it's like, so you know, it's work. It creates work for you. It is opening you up to criticism that you otherwise would not have to be subject to. It's also taking you out of your comfort zone, because most of us, we are not comfortable putting our face on camera. We're not comfortable reaching out to the world on social media. We're not comfortable showing people the behind the scenes of our lives. But, you know, it's okay. It's okay. You know, sometimes when we're not comfortable, it helps us grow a little bit too. So those are some of the things that it's like been the initial experience for us with what's it like having a YouTube channel. Now, a couple other things though is it's really, really cool. It's really cool to have a YouTube channel and like get the feedback from people. I am learning what it's like to raise chickens in Pakistan from people who have actual knowledge of raising chickens in Pakistan, because I have a YouTube channel. And not just, you know, from a video I watched, but like they interact on the channel. I am learning from people that there are just like universal truths where like there's really good people out there, and they encourage you, and they're happy to see somebody, you know, trying something and succeeding at it and enjoying it. And so that's really cool. We get a lot of really, really good feedback and great interaction on our channel from people that I'm just like amazed at, and I'm just awed at the amazing people out there, and that's coming through our channel too. So those are some of the things of like what's it like having a small YouTube channel. Do you have a YouTube channel? Let us know in the comments if you have a YouTube channel. I don't get to watch tons and tons of YouTube, but I try to check out different channels. Let me tell you some of my favorite channels. Farmer Always up in Canada, Mother Clucker's Chicken Farm in Florida, USA, Clucking Around in Texas, USA, John Hicks Banjo, and for a while I was watching Chimma's Chicken Coop. Lately I haven't been able to find Chimma's Chicken Coop on YouTube. That was in Germany. And also another one, Hi Miss Family Farm, is out I think in the western part of the United States of America. It's another one on YouTube, growing. I like to check in with it every now and then. And then I got to tell you this one. Two more I got to tell you. Becoming Superhuman. I believe that's also Texas, USA. And have y'all heard of this one? Dough Dash. DOUGH dash. DASH. Dough Dash. Check it out. Check it out. I've just caught a few of those videos and put some feedback in the comments there, but that's a neat YouTube channel. It's just somebody encouraging people and putting good energy and positive energy out there. I think it's really interesting. So anyway, those are some that I do check up on when I do get a chance to watch some YouTube. So that going on. And then I asked y'all, what are you doing in 2025? Do you have any plans for 2025 yet? I know I'm not twisting your arm to like, hey, let's make a New Year's resolution list. We don't even do that most years, honestly. But here's something I do know. Like, life is busy. Life can be hard. Life can be sometimes like, you know, you're doing all you can and you feel like you're like running in place. I'm not getting anywhere. You know, why do I keep going through this same grind all the time? Why am I not like getting further ahead? You know, that's what life can feel like, right? But when we have like a long view, and when we have things that we're trying to plan, now if we make them like way unrealistic expectations, this might not apply. But if we have like realistic expectation things that are even goals that are like reachable in steps, you know, but things that are a long view, things we want to do, things we can look forward to, that just helps keep propelling us forward and keep giving us animation and energy and spirit. And those are all great things. So that's why I like to look ahead and like, here's things I want to do. You know, I want to kind of position for this. Here's things I want to do. So some things I want to do in 2025, y'all, is plant potatoes, grow my own green beans again, and can them. So this time next year, I'm for real going on record saying this. This time next year, I want to have at least 100 quart jars of green beans that I've grown, preserved, and canned in my house. So we'll have to wait a year to check up on that. But I do want to do that. I want to raise the potatoes. We want to change the living arrangements for our egg production chickens. We want to make like little miniature pasture paddocks and have contained ranging for our egg production chickens. Currently, they have hen houses and attached chicken runs to their hen houses, but we want to like kind of update that. And we also want to expand. Here's one of our favorite people. That's my youngest son coming in here, and he's going to be actually just in and out, going from his day, his educational program and his work program, and going to football practice. So there's Drew. Drew, will you wave at the camera? He makes me smile. So anyway, he is really a great young man. Makes me smile. So he's our youngest high school senior. But anyway, we want to expand part of our farm operation. We currently already have a service where we do just well visit in-home checks on people's pets, and it's a really customized service. We want to kind of expand that to boarding pets at our home if we possibly can. So we'll see. But so that's something we want to pursue in 2025 as well. And then right now that's it. So do y'all have any plans you're willing to share with us that you want to pursue in 2025? You know, you can always change. It never hurts to have a plan, and you can always change it as needed. So we're going to go for now. Thanks for joining me here at Twin Oaks Family Farm on Twin Oaks Farm Poultry. Love you. Thanks for supporting our channel. Sending out positive vibes to you, and please interact with the video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, you can give it a thumbs down, but tell us why in the comments if you don't, so we know what to work on. But interact in the comments. Let us know, what are you looking forward to in 2025. Thanks for joining us. God bless you, and I hope you have a great day.